Hello everyone. Thank you for stopping by my YouTube channel, Get Crafty with Sally. My name is Sally Poole. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Albany, Oregon. Welcome. Today I have a little bit of a different variance of the Easter pop-up cross card that I did in my last video. I had a lot of people that really liked it, but some of them asked if there was a way to put it on an A2 card base. So I have done that here, and I just love it. So these are all of the things that you're going to need to make this card. You can either grab a screenshot of these measurements, or as always, I will have the measurements and supplies in a PDF linked down below this video in the description box, so you can help yourself to that. I do want to show you something if you're making cards from the last video that might be helpful to some of you. If you're having trouble getting, let me grab a card that's already finished. If you're having trouble adhering this folded piece to the base, getting it even, I do have a little trick or hint, I guess, that might work better for some of you. And I'll show that to you really quick before we get started on this other card. I am going to put a little bit of removable tape on the back of the card base so that I'm certain that it's going to hold still. And then this is what the card ends up looking like when you put it on the base. So instead of gluing the one side and then the other and folding it and having it pull, which it seems to want to do every time, I'm going to put the glue on it on both sides to begin with, and I'm going to put it in the middle of both of those panels just in case it slides around a little bit. Then I'm not going to have glue all over the base panel. So let's just fold this up the way we want it to go. I'm going to hold on to the edges a little bit, and I'm going to lay it down on the base panel. So this way you can get your margins pretty even. So I'm just going to hold that a little bit and let that glue set. Whoops, didn't hold it long enough. And I've got this folded so that it doesn't, there we go. Didn't want to pop back up. All right, so there we go. So I think that's a lot easier way to get that centered on there. And then you can just rub this removable glue off the back of the base piece. It just comes right off. So if you're having trouble with that, you might try this way of gluing it down instead of the way that's in the previous video. So I think for this card, I'm not going to put all these little pieces together on camera. I'm not going to glue them. I will take my, if I can get all the right pieces. So this is the 5" by 5 1/4 piece that is scored on the 5-inch edge, the shorter edge, at 1 inch, 1 7/8, 3 1/8, and 4 inches. And I am going to, if I can, lay these down. Kind of hard to see where they go with this ring light. I think those are the smaller white pieces. Yeah, here's the 5/8, or excuse me, 7/8. Okay, so in essence, you would glue, and I don't know why I'm missing one of these. Oh, there it is. You would glue these little pieces together, and then these next larger pieces onto their panels and glue those down to this base piece. And then you would get your cross piece, glue the Designer Series paper to the larger white panel, put it down on the base piece. So you're gluing all these together. And then you've got the top part of the cross. In this instance, it's going on a white layer and then also on a larger Rococo rose layer. And then that would go on here. And I have a way of lining this up. I usually make multiple cards, so I like things to be in the same place. I drew a line on my grid sheet, lined this up at the bottom, put a little bit of glue here, took my ruler and laid it up on that line, made it even on against the line, took this, these are all glued together, lined it up against this ruler, making sure that it's even on both sides, and then that was done. So I have done one of those panels ahead of time. So this is the panel all glued together with the cross piece on it, the crossways cross piece on it. So the little scraps, this one is for the little circle piece behind the sentiment, and I have used the die from Layering Circles Framelits. This is an old retired die set. I have used this scalloped die for it. It's the second largest one in the set. And then for the sentiment piece, I stamped it with my sentiment I did on my computer. You can find the font style and size in the PDF. I stamped the lilies. I can't remember what I called them in the other video. From the Faith Collection stamp set. And I cut that circle out with the second smallest circle die from the Stylish Shapes set. That is in the video as well, or excuse me, in the PDF as well. So the only difference in this card, the card from the last video, as far as putting things together, we're not going to glue the scored and folded cross panel to this base piece, we are going to take we've got a 5.5 by 8.5 piece of cardstock. This is Rococo Rose, scored at 4 1/4, folded in half. Let me move some of these out of the way. Give that another good burnish. And then I've got this, let's see, piece of basic white that I cut at 4 3/16 by 5 3/8. And I'm going to cut the right edge, or I have cut the right edge, with this die from the Elegant Borders die set. A lot of you probably have these. If you don't have this, any other edge die will work. So I've already cut this out, and I didn't put any adhesive paper on the back of it or anything. I'm just going to use glue. So let me grab a piece of scratch paper. And by the way, Easter is April 20th of this year, so you actually still have quite a while to get your cards together. I am going to put tape on the solid part of this, and I'm going to take my green glue and I'm just going to go around and put little dots everywhere. And I want to make sure on these little curly Q pieces, you want to make sure that you get glue on, especially the very end of them, so they lay down. Oop, that's kind of a goopy glob of glue, so we'll get rid of that. I'm going to take my bracelet off because I can't quite lay my wrist down flat. Now I've got way too much glue on there. So just go around and put little dots here and there. There are a few spots on the scrolly cutout that are kind of thicker or wider, so they're easy to get the glue on. So you want to make sure you get the little curly guys and these very edge pieces because you want it to lay down. Like watching paint dry, right? Okay, I think that's pretty good. So let's set that aside. And I'm going to take I'm going to work from the folded edge, so it's going to open on the right. So I'm going to keep my fingers under the top part of the paper so the tape doesn't stick down. And I'm going to line up this edge. I'm going to call it the bottom edge right now, but it's actually the left edge. Line that up, trying to get everything even. And then we'll just lay the rest of it down and press this down. And I did get a lot of extra glue on there. If you ever get a piece like one of the little curly Q ends that are sticking up, you can take let me see if I can grab a scrap of cardstock here. take a little scrap of cardstock and just put some glue on the very corner of it. And then whatever piece is sticking up, you can actually poke that cardstock right underneath it and put some glue on the underneath side of this. So that's pretty handy. You don't have to try to pull it up to lift it to try to get the glue in there. So I think that is always a helpful thing to know. Okay, so now this one you can do either way. If you want to put the glue on it and fold it and lay it down on here, you can. I am actually, this card base seems to be a little more forgiving than that other card. So we are just going to lay this edge down here. And I actually am making this margin a little wider than the bottom and the top. And then I am going to put glue on this panel. Fold that up. Press my cross down. And there we've got it. I also am going to make sure that I put a piece of basic white cardstock on the inside, not only to write a sentiment on, but in this case, it's actually going to keep the card from tipping forward. So you don't have to put that little leg on here either. I guess I should line it up from the right side, not the bottom. So there's our inside piece. There's our popped up cross. And like I said, when it's sitting open, it's not leaning forward. It will stand up on its own. So I think that is wonderful. So let me show you. This is mainly Rococo Rose. The sample that I showed you at the beginning of the video, I used, this paper is Wonderful World, the pattern paper, the designer series paper. And I used pink pirouette behind these white layers, which is a really old color. It's really pretty though, and it matches this paper really well. But when I went to cut some more of it, and I know when I got the original package out to do this card, there wasn't very much left, just a few little scraps. So when I went to cut some more out to make some more of this card, I couldn't find it. So there's lots of other pinks that you can use. I decided to use Rococo Rose on the whole card here. The next sample I have is Wonderful World again with Wisteria Wonder. The Wisteria Wonder is a really old retired color too, but I love it. And I think that this die cut piece on the edge makes it look really lacy and delicate and Eastery. This card is, I used Bloom Impressions Designer Series paper and Daffodil Delight cardstock. So I like that one. I tend to like the yellow ones a lot for some reason. I do like the pink ones though on this card. The next one is Painted Blooms. with Rich Razzleberry. And I don't think Rich Razzleberry is listed in the designer series paper. It has Blackberry Bliss, but I didn't want to go that dark. And this matches fine. And the next one I used Everyday Happiness, which is a current paper pack, and Lost Lagoon. I think those are really pretty together. And I did color the lilies on this one with wild wheat, light and dark wild wheat. The next one is Unbounded Beauty with Berry Burst. It's not looking as purple on the phone to me right now, but maybe it'll come out right. And the last one is, I used this paper in the last video, Expressions in Ink and Pale Papaya. But this card, I didn't do the side fold A2, I did the top fold. So this one is actually on a 4 1/4 by 11 piece of cardstock, scored at 5 1/2. And so when you stand this one up, the top of the cross kind of leans back, so it's not standing up straight like the other cards, but it's still really pretty. And then I was able to stamp this sentiment from the Faith Collection stamp set. Let your faith be bigger than your fears. So that's kind of fun to put on there. Anyway, those are my updated designer series papers and the updated A2 card base. I hope that you like these cards. I hope that you love these papers, and I hope that you will make some of these for Easter and send them to your friends and families. And to the people that wrote to me and are making cards to hand out at church, I think that's wonderful. Bless your hearts. I just love you for that. So I think if we could all do a little of that, the world would certainly be a better place. So thanks for stopping by again and spending some time with me. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did and you're getting anything out of my videos, please hit the like button. Share my video with your friends and family. And if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do so. It helps my channel grow. And let me also interject on the last video. My heart has just been overwhelmed with your likes and your comments. It's the most comments I think I've ever got on any video. So I appreciate all of you that took time to leave a comment. There's some really wonderful people out there, and it makes my heart happy. So anyway, I hope that you have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye.